Hey guys, today we are looking at the study number 6 by SOAR, so opus number 35, number 4. All right, so we're in 3/4 and we have one sharp, that's the F sharp, and we just have a bunch of A notes. It's nothing really crazy. You're sustaining this G in the first measure while you're playing that. All right, so it's just a G chord. So. All right, let's stop there. Let's stop there. We're getting a little bit far. Okay, so just a bunch of eighth notes, but they're interconnected with the upper voice that has the stems going up and the lower voices with the stems going down. All right, so remember there's going to be two separate rhythms. So if we look at that first measure, notice we have the dotted quarter note. That's going to be 2.5. Now your and is on the D, and then your 3 and is on the G and the B. All right. Bottom voices, you have an eighth note rest followed by an eighth note, which is the G, and then right after that you come in with the B, and those sustain while you're playing the. All right, so always remember that there's going to be upper voices and lower voices. They're going to need to make sense rhythmically, but basically it translates to they're just all eighth notes, okay? Okay, so we went through a first line. Let's talk about that second line. Actually, let's take a second and let's take a look at the last measure, first line. Notice how it says to use the F sharp here and then the C here. So that's your dyad, so that you can come open G, A, open D, all right, E and C, back up to F sharp, and then you're on the second line now, first measure. All right, second measure. All right, third measure. And then it repeats the same idea one more time. And then the same idea. All right, and that's a quick release on that eighth note. So we went into the third line, into the third line. Now, let's talk about that measure, second to last measure on the third line. You have this C with the open E. Right, that's easy. Now you're jumping over to your D and your F sharp, all right, and then adding the A with this first finger. So you got a little bit of a stretch, so you need to practice that individually. And then you have a bunch of open notes. All right, that's the end of the third line. Now, let's keep on trudging forward. Let's look at the fourth line. The fourth line, we have an open G chord. And then you're going to end up with this E right here. Right? A minor chord. Lots of nice chords. Lots of nice chords. Let's break it down into chords, right? So we have a G. All right. And then you're going to have it, actually, this is an E minor with the G in the bass, right? Then you have an A minor, so you can actually hold that formation there even though you're not hitting the E instantly. All right, now you have this B7 idea. All right, and then you go back to this E minor with the arpeggiation. Now, hammer on, because it says to. All right, so hammer on the E to the G. All right, when you're going through there. All right, last measure. And that's just a continuation of the E minor arpeggio. All right, keeping on working, we're going to the first measure of the fifth line and saying A and C sharp. All right, so nothing, no big deal. You're gonna play the A and the C sharp here. Pull off that, nice. All right, so let's talk about that pull off. All right, we have a pull off in the second measure, starting with the F sharp going to the E. All right, now we have the 16th notes, and all you're going to do is you're going to take this finger, play the D, pull off down to the C sharp, pull off to the open B, and then hammer on to the C sharp again. So that section is, and then you open D and open D, E. And then you're through. All right, so that's the B section of the piece. All right, B section being you have two A's, which you have a section that goes all the way up to third measure of the second line, and then it repeats itself, right? And then the B section is going to start on the fourth line, and that's where things get a little bit different. And then you're going to go back to the A section, which is the fourth measure of the fifth line. All right, so because you've already played all this, right? No big deal. You've already played all this before. All right, so let's a little something new there. So let's take it from the second measure of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line. Second measure, 6th line. Open A, G sharp, and the D for a whole beat, and then go back to A minor shape. So, oh, that was right. All right, no big deal. You've already played this before. All right, a little funky there. All right, so no big deal. Let's play the whole section. Have you played this section? I don't know if you played this section before. This sounds completely new. So you have that A, G sharp, and then D, going into this A minor formation. All right, now you have this F sharp and the C. That sounds a little familiar. All right, C and the G sharp, last measure, 6th line. Okay, so there's quite a bit of stuff that's going on there. So let's talk about it. Starting with the last measure, 6th line. So C and G sharp, hammer on up to the A. All right, now you're coming down to the D and the F sharp. Hit your first finger here on the D. All right, no big deal. G and the A and the C. A little suspension there. Second measure. Third measure. So a little bit of movement towards the end. All right, I'm not sure if I would completely call it a whole new section because it's kind of just finishing out the piece. But you definitely get a breather after the B section, all right, all the way up to the second measure of the sixth line, all right. So go back, watch this a few times. If you have questions, let me know, and then we will cover them in class. I hope this video helps, and let me know if you need help other than this. All right, bye.